What's up, schmeckleheads? Ooh. Anyone here? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller? What's up, Cabo? Where are you at? You in Cabo San Lucas? You on your way to Thailand again? What are you up to? I don't even know if people can hear me with this shit. Reported to Hawa. What is that? Let me do this. I can turn this off. Background music. I'll lower the background music. Lower it. There we go. Comments. You can hear me now. There we go, gentlemen den. I was just having a little Thai girl drama. Send me money. Send me money. I said, nope. We can hear you good. There we go. So, yeah. I still have my little dove sounds going on? Yeah, I do. I'm actually not on my balcony, though. I don't even know why I'm streaming. I don't think anyone else is streaming. Ron's streaming. CC. Anyone? My doves are getting big, man. I think they're going to fly the coop soon. They're going to be flying the coop probably within the next 2 to 3 days, according to Google. You never know. The little fuckers are flapping the shit out of their wings. They better learn how to fucking fly. If they don't know how to fly, man, they're going to be roadkill. They're literally going to end up fucking smashed. Let's go out there and see what's going on. Let's grab the flashlight first. It's actually nice out. Hang on a sec. With the balcony. The flashlight. Getting a little chilly out. But hopefully the bird's going to be happy with me. What's up, Birdie? What's up, Birdie? Damn things are so big they can't even fucking sit there. Oh, what's going on here? What do we got? The stupid fucking share your referral link stuff now is fucking with the reading the text. Who's this? Guest. This is going to be a porn flasher. Sweet. Add to stage. That's Still go.
I'm a sweet little bird in a field that sings. Tweet is my name, but I don't know my age. I don't have to worry, and that is that. I'm safe in here from that old putty cat.
What the fuck?
Yeah, they grew fast. They were just eggs last week or whatever.
Dude, it's like the incubation to flying off, this down to their death if they don't learn how to fly quickly is 14, a total of like basically almost a month. But yeah, since they came out of the eggs, Easter Sunday, and it's what? Is that 12 days, whatever. It's crazy. They're big,
super
man.
fast.
You can't even fucking sit on them anymore. They're like literally, like tonight she's laying on them just because it's a little chilly out. But like during the day, I guess, according to my sources, pretty much they just sit there and flap their wings all day, getting their exercise in, getting ready for the initial flight that could lead to their death.
I hope we don't have a repeat of WKRP in Cincinnati. I swear, I thought turkeys could fly.
Yeah. Well, hopefully at a bare minimum they'll try to go for that tree right there.
Yeah,
they could survive that, but I think they most likely will be going from I don't know. They're flapping their wings hard enough to make it as if they're going to be able to make it. So we'll see.
Yep. You'll probably be at work when they go.
Well, yeah, most likely. Well, supposedly they come back. They actually will like hang out in the area, and the parents actually follow them and stuff. So we'll see.
Oh, we'll see. You're going to have to get bird watchers when you travel.
I'm not that into it. I just figured it. Whatever. I'll probably, to be honest with you, I'll probably get something for my father. Probably get him some fucking little birdies to watch all day.
Yeah, keep him busy. Keep him occupied.
Exactly. Was Ron leaving today or what?
No, he couple days.
Yeah, he's got some time.
Yeah, 2 days.
It doesn't even seem like he's psyched up for it.
He shouldn't even go. I know a little bit. I talked to him off YouTube, and he shouldn't go.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
He can recover that 600 super fast. 100 extra a month, half a year, boom, it's all recovered.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not, you're not in the right financial situation, and it's, I just wouldn't want to go now anyway. It's too fucking hot.
Yeah, it's just way too hot.
That's crazy, but whatever. He's impulsive.
Yep.
He's very impulsive.
He'll do it either way. You talk him out of it, you don't talk him out of it, but either way, he's going to go, I think. So
he's going to end up going to Padia and spend his entire fucking 2 weeks there. That's what's going to happen. You know that.
Yep. There's no reason to go up north.
Well, no.
So,
I mean, he's not. He doesn't have unless he has an internet girlfriend or a Thai-friendly girlfriend. I don't know.
I don't think he has any of that lined up because the trip wasn't for that, and it's not he should just stay home, bite it, and the 600 and go stay.
Whatever. It could turn out to be a good trip for him. Who knows? I mean, he doesn't. As long as he doesn't he's going to get stupid. That's what happens.
Exactly.
If you want to go for 2 weeks and do your, stay in your cheap hotel and just hit the bars, drink a little bit, meet a girl or two, that's fine. But
I'm thinking he's going to extend like a week.
Yeah, exactly. He'll start hitting the credit cards again.
Yep, and that's the problem.
Exactly. Keep on putting himself in a further hole.
Everybody listen to Ricky. Max out your credit cards now.
Jesus, I haven't even seen him go live in a while, actually.
It's been, almost 10 days, 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah? He usually pops up here and there.
Yeah, he will. He'll end up at, like, on a beach somewhere or back in Thailand or no, maybe he might even. I think didn't he say he had to come back to the States?
Oh, really?
Or something. Yeah, maybe. I think that might be July though. Who knows? That would suck. Just having to. But for him, he has a halfway point, Germany, because he has family over there. His grandkids and his daughter, and yeah, so he could just stop there a little bit and then break up the trip.
Cabo and be more than get stupid in balls of war. Oh, that way he's working, you know.
Yep, if he's working, he's doing okay.
He can't just keep doing what he's doing. You definitely need a break from it.
Yep.
David Bond shit. I hate this new comment thing. You got to press a button and then. Have you done this shit yet? With
nope. I canceled StreamYard because they won't allow uploading videos anymore. At least at my end. Yeah, I might be banned.
Oh, okay.
So what? I have no use for it at that point.
Yeah, I mean that's what you do. You know, but you're still able to do all your audio clips and stuff. Though.
Yeah, you can do audio, but what I found a great video of JG and Pick Boss going at it because somebody came on and called Masha a P30.
Oh boy!
and they were just going at it for 10 straight minutes, and I was thinking that was a video I would like to play, but you can't. So I just said, you know what, I'm done. It's just another step in stopping it.
I would imagine you probably have the most footage of this shit than anyone in this genre.
Yeah, I might.
Just
I think yo, Jeff Lepard.
What happened with the Canadian shit? The Liberals got voted in, I guess. I don't follow it.
Yeah. The globalists got in.
I don't know.
They think things are tough now. 4 years from now, they're all going to be begging.
What I tell you, Jeff, Stoley the goalie. I know he lost 2, but he really played great the entire series. All those goals. I mean, the shit that was scored on him. You know, that was tough. But yeah, they're moving on to the next round. The kid that I used to ref.
The Leafs are moving on, or
yeah, the Leafs. Yeah, they won today.
Okay, good. That's my fallback team. It used to be Montreal, but they can't do it anymore. I guess Guy Lafleur, those days are never coming back.
Yeah, everything. You know, I don't know about in our lifetime, but what does this say? Yeah, man, Florida, here we come. Yeah, Florida's gonna be tough. Yeah.
Yeah, they just beat Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Those Floridian teams have been good. Excuse me. Vinnick must be pissed off. Jeffrey Vinnick, he was the fund manager for Jesus, listen to me. For the Magellan Fund, Fidelity Magellan Fund years ago. He was the one. I interviewed with him back in the early 90s. He opened up a hedge fund. And he did pretty well, then closed it. The guy's worth, I think he's worth about $3 or $4 billion.
Does he own the Lightning?
He owns Tampa Bay Lightning, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Now I know why they're winning, because they have, smart people running the organization.
Well, that's it. Yeah, he put a lot of money into it.
He knows value for his dollar, and he's going to get it.
It's a pet
like
project.
Cuban.
Yeah.
Yep, with Cuban, with Dallas, they know a value of a dollar. They seem to win.
Yeah, it's a pet project for him, but he fucking loves it. I don't even know what he bought the team for. Probably $200-300 million.
Yeah, no, you would think you get it cheap down in Florida, but that's where all the good teams are from now. They're all Florida, Vegas, California, Texas.
Yeah. It just changes every year. You never know.
Yeah. Well, the team I used to root for, the Flyers, they're no longer the Broad Street Bullies. They're Broad Street Sissies.
Yeah, well, that team was nuts back in the day in the 70s.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I drove all the way out. In 74 and 75, I drove to Philly, the Spectrum, with my uncle, because he was a huge Flyer fan from Cleveland. Then they beat Buffalo and Boston, and then they played Montreal in 76. and we went up to Canada. They got their asses kicked, and he goes, we're not going to go to any other games. Well, we didn't have to. They got swept 4-0. That was it. They haven't won since then, since 75.
The craziest was when the Russians came in. Do you remember that? The best.
Yeah. They beat all the other teams, but the Flyers just beat the shit out of them.
Well, Flyers fucking hacked the living. They beat the shit out.
Yeah, they said, well, you might win the game, but we're going to beat the hell out of you. They just knocked them. The Russians were so fast that cross skating and all that, they were just too good, too fast.
Bobby Clark freaking two-handed that guy, broke his stick over his whatever it was. Oh my God, he was a dirty fuck. But hey,
yep.
The Russians skated off. That's basically what happened. The coach said, "No,
yeah, we're out.
We're not playing these fucking maniacs anymore. We're done with this shit."
Bring on the Boston Bruins. We could take on Bobby Orr and Esposito and those guys.
Crazy.
Jerry Cheevers. Yep.
Oh man.
Viking Prepper. What do you live for, Viking Prepper?
What's this? I can't even see that. Oh, I'm so far behind in the chat because of this stupid share your referral link thing. I can't even get rid of it.
Yeah, you can't even turn it off. That was another reason. They asked, why are you leaving? I said, some referral link I can't control.
Yeah, I mean, it's right in the way of the fucking chat.
Yep.
It's fucking stupid. Let me do this. Well, no, I mean, if you flip it around, if you're on your phone like regularly, it's right in the fucking way.
Yeah, they took the options away from iPad and the phone last year, January 2024, and this year they seem to be taking them away again. So I'll just use the free version and restream if I have to.
That's what I have. I don't pay for this shit.
Yeah. They tried, we'll knock off 40%. And if you stay another week, for one, it'll be free. And then we'll give you 40%. I said, no, thank you. I'll take the consolation prize.
You give me background music, though. This media asset shit.
Yeah.
We got my little doves in the background.
Yeah, you can play all that stuff. That was the cool part. You had to figure out how you could play up like a minute and a half on some sound bites, and others it was only like, if it was a real song, it was only 45 seconds. But if it was just talking in that, it'd allow you to go like a minute and a half.
Well, I've been playing this the whole fucking stream in a loop.
Yeah, just keep looping it. It'll just keep going. I had a perfect one for that, but it may have taken down the channel.
I still haven't looked to see why they took down my last channel. I guess I got to go on the laptop.
Yeah, I think it was the thumbnail. Yeah, the thumbnail.
Well, I was
the guy leaning forward.
They let me go for so long, and then I thought maybe based on the title and the description that I was getting close to the highway. They thought I was going to off myself or something.
Yeah. Yeah, 208, the famous highway where people off themselves.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, you were saying, Steph is doing cooking stream. Oh, my God.
What is he
Steph
doing?
did talk about, Cheaper Charlie said Steph is doing cooking streams. He did mention one time on a stream that he eats pigeons.
Squibs, man. It's a delicacy.
Yeah.
Cooking in your car.
Cooking in your car.
Oh, man. Sheep. The sheep is here. Oh, boy.
Yeah, poor Sean.
I haven't seen him around in a while.
Well, you've been lucky.
I don't know where he goes. He's on these hostile, all these crazy people streams. I've been sticking to the same shit over and over again.
I click on a stream that's live. For some reason, I'm getting some Casey Jones dude. I remember him on Jeff. No, it wasn't Jeff. It was Pick Bosses. He was living in a hotel at the time. I remember this guy.
I do remember him. Yeah, I remember that name at least.
Yeah, he said he started a channel so he can combat all the bad and negativity in on YouTube. And his channel's Mosh 5.0.
Oh my God. Yeah, every now and then I'll swing over to Mosh when he's with the live band stuff just to laugh. But when he gets into the whole Marissa thing and his ex-girlfriend, oh god,
10 years from now, he'll still be talking about it.
Most likely.
None of us will be listening because by then we'll all figure it out. Turn it off.
I don't know, man. I think we're addicts.
We're leftovers, and this is it. It's not going to grow, and people die, so it's just going to shrink.
It's been a lot of people dying off. Lots and lots of people dying off.
Well, like you said, we're all going to die.
We're all going to die.
I was talking to my dentist after the appointment. I always get the last one so we can chit chat a little bit. He's a cool guy, and I mentioned, I have a friend. He online. He was talking about Jesus on the cross, and he's like, "Oh, really? What did he say?" I go, "Well, he called people morons." The look on his face, he was like, "What? Really? Really?" I'm not sure if he's religious or not. It doesn't seem like it because we were talking about everything. We just, you name it, we talk about it. And I just brought it up because he was bringing it up.
That's bad. The things that I say sometimes amaze me, but they're how I feel.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to be. There was a time you could, even in class, you can just say whatever you wanted. I remember my civics teacher. Listen, we're in here to debate and almost argue. No combat, no abrasiveness. But afterwards, everybody's friends again. And those days are over. I remember some kid stood up. He goes, anything we can say, anything. He goes, yeah. And he turned around and pointed at some kid. You're a fucking jerk off. He just started laughing. I was like, whoa. You got to get out of here.
I got to lower my media assets. That cooing is a little too loud. So what's going on with you? You were trying to get your nephew or something to stay at your house?
Yeah. We agreed 36 months, and I told him you have to stay and pick a car. He picked one. I get back and he left the day before. He left a note. I said, I can't say you're from your mom's side of the family because that's my sister. I said, you're from your dad's side of the family. And I haven't talked to him since then. It just pissed me off. I don't understand that.
Yeah, and people are, they don't commit.
He's a simp. He's a simp.
Oh, was it his ex-girlfriend or something? And then
yeah. Yep, that's what he did.
Ugh. Yeah. Hey, it is what it is.
That's how I look at it.
I had the Thai girl asking me for, what does she want? She wants like fucking 10,000 baht. The one, the Dubai girl. I'm like, no.
You're in the perfect place to make that.
No, that's what I said to her. I said, she's like, I have room. I need to pay room. I'm like, well, you're staying in a fucking massage place. I'm like, why the fuck do you need a room? I'm like, no, I'm not giving you the money. So they pulling the typical Thai girl thing. Nonstop text messages and I just am not in the mood for it. Right
Is this
now.
the one that from Buriram or the one that goes to Japan?
The crazy one from Buriram.
Yeah. Just
I know.
It's so hard to just say no and cut it off and whatever.
Oh no, I've had her blocked for a while and I've talked to her sporadically. That's just not who I am. You know what I mean? Whatever. Eventually, you stop fucking sending them that money when they ask every other month. They'll get more.
They'll walk on their own.
That's exactly. Yeah, that's how it goes. So I'll let her make the choice.
Yep.
But you when I show up to Thailand or if I'm in Dubai or whatever, hey, you want to hang out? I'll hook you up. But enough is enough.
Yep, absolutely. It's one thing like if you're with them and they ask, it's another thing and you're not.
No, I mean I don't. You know what? Occasionally, if something pops up, I don't even give a shit what excuse they use, and I'm in that type of mood.
Because you know it's an excuse. So
Yeah, of course. You know,
I always say you should be original. What's that? You explain it, and then what? There's buttermilk in the refrigerator. I was like, what? Is that original?
my husband need bought. He need to buy car.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's
Yeah.
honest. My boyfriend, he need motorbike.
Yeah, that's the funny ones. That's like, well, at that point, yeah, gotta go.
Oh man, too much.
Yeah, but at least you got a great soundbite out of that.
Oh God,
You
yeah.
work hard and you will succeed.
That was so fucking funny. I think I have a fucking screen capture of that shit. Was it what she did on TikTok or Facebook or what?
Yeah.
I don't even follow her social media anymore. I blocked that. That was the thing that I blocked. I'm just like I'm just done.
You just gotta. I don't have any social media. I just have this, and I don't even count this anymore. Matter of fact, I found the other account I had. I forgot I had it, and I was logging in. I said, "Would you like to use another account?" And I'm like, "I have one." And I clicked on it, and I said, "Oh, I remember making that. I trolled Monster with that one once." I knew you would get it. You did. You guessed it right away, and so it was, yeah. But nobody else got it. And then I had a third one I deleted because I only use it one day to troll Ricky. It was John O'Marsh Jr. He was the Secretary of the Army in the 80s when we were in the military.
Oh, that's the guy he always thanks, or you thank, right?
Yeah, I always thank him. John O'Marsh Jr. The first time I did that, he was like, John O'Marsh Jr., he was a Secretary of the Army in 1980. So Ricky knew.
Crazy. Excuse me.
The bottle service is going to arrive in Bangkok when Ron lands.
Jesus. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really. You ever do any of that shit when you did it in Udon, didn't you? You went to like the clubs there, and
yeah.
Like, I've never really done it. I did it. I think in 2019. I did some stuff in what the hell is that place called on Walking Street? I spent some time there, but other than that, I'd rather just go to a beer bar. I guess I'm
exactly. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. If I did drink, I would be by myself in a bar right in the middle, but away from where they're pouring the drafts and people are going to go up and back and the waitresses. That's if I drank. I would never go in a bar and party and go to get bottle service. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not me. I would never do that.
I just like to people watch. Find a nice, comfortable chair, sit back, watch the crowd go by. There was a couple good places in PP where you pretty much just see everyone because all those streets are so close together. They're gonna and you just watch people go by. That's pretty.
I think I listened too much George Thorogood back in the day. That's why I would drink alone. And all my buddies, they were the same way. They would call like from a payphone in the 80s and, hey man, I need a ride back to the barracks. I get there, they're the only ones in there. They're the only one. They just sit there and they would drink and get drunk, but they knew to call. But yeah, I don't know anybody that partied. I really don't.
When you were in college, there was,
dude, think about where I went and when I went. There was nobody, and I was underage. I didn't even have a driver's license at the time.
Yeah, you're too young. Well, Princeton probably had a pretty good party scene,
Yeah, they did. It was West Windsor.
Well, just the fraternities and stuff, right? They fraternities.
Yeah. They had stuff like that, but at the time the dorms were being redone, so people were staying in old refurbished hotels on Route 1.
Oh, Jesus.
Temporarily, and there was nothing. You had to go to the shore. That's why people went to the Stone Pony, and and
Yeah, Asbury.
Asbury, and then Atlantic City. Then what was the one place? The Wildwood, that was big in the 80s. Wildwood,
That's a
and
hike,
people would
though.
go there. Yeah, but if you're gonna go, you're gonna. It, back then there was nothing. You remember Route 1 at the? I don't know if you remember in the 80s. It was just Reed Sod Farm. There was nothing on either side. There was nothing there. When I remember the first time I got here, there was a Sears where the state DMV and all that, the state buildings are on Route 1. You know, by the Trent Makes Bridge, the last two exits. That was a Sears. That wasn't the state building. That was a Sears.
Huh.
There was nothing here.
Yeah, I don't think I was ever out there. Maybe for like a school class trip or something when I was younger.
Yeah.
I think we might have went to Trenton. But other than that, I went to soccer camp at Ryder when I was
Ewing. Yeah, Ewing.
They had a big soccer camp there when I used to play the football. And then my balls dropped, and I realized I liked women.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, he went there, played soccer, hated it, quit college. A week later, went to the police academy at Seagirt, and he just retired about a year ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Pemberton. He's out in Pemberton.
In Seagirt, there was an inline skating rink we used to skate at by there, right across it was an old inlet. That it's not an inlet really. I mean, it was a natural inlet right there, and that separated Spring. I think it was Seagirt and Manasquan. Yeah, Manasquan. I think I remember.
Yeah, I have a friend in Manasquan. His house went bye during the hurricane.
Oh, they got fucked.
He sent me photos. I asked him. I said, "Oh, you need me to manage the softball this year until you get on your feet?" And he sent me a short video and a photo. It was like 8 feet. His whole basement was covered. It was coming up to the living room. He goes, "Yeah, I think you better take charge." So I had to take over for that. Look, they all got brand new houses.
Yeah, raised too, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, the ones in Spring Lake, they were all raised. A friend of mine, he bought a house that was all crooked. And he called me up and he goes, "Hey, I need you to pick up this guy. He has a bunch of jacks." I'm like, "What are you working on a car?" He goes, "No, we're going to lift our house." I was like, "What?" They pulled it off. He didn't want to pay like the $3,000. So they did it themselves. They lifted the house.
They were getting a fortune for raising houses.
Exactly. Yep.
You know, there's people that retired off that they did it for 2 years straight. Guys that basically construction companies that kind of just adapted and picked up. You know, obviously you need architects and engineers and stuff, but there was one company that was just everywhere. Like they did every fucking house by me. It's crazy. You know.
Yeah.
They made
it
made the neighborhood look ridiculous, but I guess it is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I knew a company like that out of Canada when the oil wells were on fire in Kuwait back in '91. They came in to cap the wells, and every one of those guys is dead. Every single one of them.
Oh, really?
Because I participated in the burn pit, the study from '95 until recently when it ended. And I kept track. I said, "Hey, are these guys around? The company's gone. All the people were sick." And the PhD, the last time I talked, she said, "They're all gone. Every single one of them are dead." And I remember it rained oil at noon and it was like pitch black. So I put a poncho on myself and got the hell out of there. I'm not going to stick around for that.
They were just sucking that shit into their lungs.
Yeah, but one guy put a handkerchief over his face and he was on a bulldozer. A guy in the National Guard, he's dead.
How long of exposure do you need for that to kill you, basically? I mean, it's just a couple days? What do you think?
I don't know. I wouldn't know, but I wasn't going to take the chance.
Yeah.
I got the hell out of there. And I told the two guys in the National Guard, I said, "It's not worth your life. You have a better chance walking in the middle of the desert and facing the entire Iraqi army than you later on." "Oh, I'm not worried about it." I said, "All right. See ya."
Yeah. Well, I remember they did a documentary they would explode it, right? Then cap it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They sucked the air out, basically. that the explosion would cause the air or whatever, the fire to stop, and then they had a certain amount of time before they could actually cap it.
Yeah.
The amount of oil that was lost, holy shit.
Yeah, but the guys in Saudi Aramco, the petroleum engineers, they said if you think the oil is finite, I have a few oil wells that I can sell you dirt cheap. And then they explained, they were telling me, like the Kennedys, everybody's like, oh, they made their money this way, then bootlegging. Joe Kennedy got out of the market the day before. That's true, but they made their money from oil and sharecropping in Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Texas. It's where the Kennedys made their money. These guys told me, and I remember being in Texas in the mid '80s. And I don't know if you remember that movie Urban Cowboy. It was meant to expose how fucked up the oil fields were back then. They were drying up. They all somehow oil just seeped back into those oil fields again. I didn't see any dinosaurs walking around. Yeah,
it's just to inflate the price, make it.
Like diamonds. If you and I were walking and we saw a diamond and we were stranded out in the middle of nowhere, that diamond would have no value to us.
Yeah.
And
well, it's the beers. The beers have fucking safes filled with diamonds that they never want to release.
Yep.
They basically control the marketplace.
Yeah, I played for De Beers, their softball team. They sponsored us. One of the cheapest, lowest fucking sponsors ever. But to be fair, when we won, they took care of everything. Rental cars, hotels, plane tickets, $1,000 just for spending money just to play softball on a weekend. I was like, yeah, okay. But you had to win.
Yeah, but for them, it's just obviously someone knew someone from that, but who, to sponsor even the best softball team in the world in terms of advertising dollars, it doesn't correlate to sponsoring.
Exactly.
It's just, you're not getting any,
No, they did it just because, like we talked earlier, like the guy, it was a pet project for the Lightning. Yeah. The local guy, and I knew a distributor for Budweiser. Well, actually, it was Coors. And he came up to me one day. I was hitting BP with a buddy of mine. He was a cop, so he would just drive and we'd hit softball at Mercer County Park during his shift. He didn't give a shit. He just I'll go ahead, park his car, until he got caught doing it a couple times. But we were hitting a guy. He happened to be walking his dog. And he goes, hey, do you guys have a team? And I said, well, I play for another team. He said, hey, do you need a sponsor? I said, yeah, we always need a sponsor. So I talked to the coach. The guy talked to him. Next day, we had 6 different uniforms. This is for rec, like Monday and Friday. We had 6 different uniforms. We had to wear a certain color on a certain day. If we won the championship round, we had to wear a different shirt. That was just a distributor. And he brought all the beer to the field. You can't drink at the parks, but he brought the beer and he said, listen, we can't drink here, but we can drink over there. And then they went across the street, and then he just had beer pouring it for everybody. That's when I learned to call Coors Light Girls Light, because they never brought the yellow can. It was always the silver can.
A silver can, yeah. Piss water.
Yep.
Coors Light for me is basically just fuck off. It's not even like drinking. It's basically just chilling out and watching a game, and
Yeah, everybody that drank that were softball players, and they never got drunk. None of them ever got drunk.
Yep, and you drink it all day long.
Yep, they would have a cooler, and they would play in between games. They would drink a few beers, eat, and then play again. I'm like, don't you guys get drunk? Not on this stuff.
I got drunk. I drank, I think, 6 Coors Lights, and then I drank like maybe a half a bottle of wine, and oh God, did I feel like shit. That was a tough day. Next day going to work. Was it Sunday? It happened.
Didn't you say once that you drank so much you passed out in a guy's bushes and he found you the next day when he was cutting?
Well, no, I lived in south of Boston at the time. This was I'm trying to think when it was. Maybe was it Phil? I don't know. Whatever it was, we partied in Boston, and obviously back then the drinking and driving thing, Mad wasn't as powerful,
Yeah.
and people were doing it, and I had a nice buzz going. But before I had left the bar in Boston, I did a bunch of shots, and I'm fucking driving, and it got to the point where I'm like, I can't drive. So I basically just pulled over. And where was I? I was in Milton, Mass, I think. Like, nice town. I got off the Route 93 and pulled off and basically parked my car in front of someone's house. And even back then, it was the whole thing of if you get caught in the car and you're drunk and the keys and blah, blah, blah. I just said, fuck it. They had these big ass evergreen trees in front of their house. So I'm trying to think. It was in the beginning of the summer, so it was cool at night. So I basically crawled under the tree, fucking passed out, and fucking I wake up, I'm sweating, I got pine needles all over me, and the guy's fucking mowing his lawn. Oh yeah, that was bad, but at least I was smart enough not to drive when I got that bad.
Yeah, exactly. How could you get angry at someone? You just say, hey, look, I was too drunk. I didn't want to drink and drive or hurt anybody. I just passed out and I'm sorry. Like he's going to do anything. And back then, people were still normal.
Yeah. There was a guy, this guy that worked for my father back in the day. He was, a big partier, this and that. He was like a all-state wrestler, and then he went to Iowa, and he was he almost made the Olympic team, but just a good guy overall. But the guy liked to drink a little too much. And, he worked on Wall Street, and he'd drive home late at night after he was drinking. This is probably the early 90s. Dude, he ran into the same fucking house. I'm telling you, he ran into a house. And it was on his way home. Basically, there was this curve. And he hit the house, I think it was 3 times. No, he hit the house twice. And the first time he didn't lose his license because the people, knew who he was. The second time, I forget what happened. The cops did get involved, but it was after the fact. And the third time, he lost his license because the people were like, "Fuck this! You're gonna kill us."
Yeah, exactly.
He'd be coming home at 1 a.m. and he wouldn't make the turn, and he would literally just drive right into their fucking garage.
Wow. I guess Dan Gable didn't instill anything in him.
No,
I think Gable was still there. Was he at Iowa or Iowa State?
I think it was Iowa. I mean, both those schools are really good for wrestling. So I think he did. He actually, I don't know if Gable was the coach then. This was probably he probably would have graduated in 88 maybe, or 86. I'm trying to think.
Yeah. So Gable may have still been there.
Gable was probably his coach.
Yeah.
I always used to remember as a kid that kid trained his ass off. We lived there was 2 hills. So no matter what, to get to my house, you had to ride your bike up a hill. So I was always riding my bike. He would fucking run around a loop and he'd do both hills and run. I'm not talking about jogging. I'm talking about training and running. He was just a fucking animal. I think his senior year, he went undefeated. He won. He was a pretty good sized guy. I'd probably say 160s, 170s, whatever back then. And he went undefeated and won the states. He was the first state champion from the local high school. And he was a beast.
Yeah, work hard, you succeed.
Exactly. Work hard and you will succeed.
With wrestling, it's a combination. Conditioning, you have to have wind. If you don't have wind, you're done. You're done.
Skill set and just the ability to just keep going. It's like the MMA shit, Same concept. Crazy.
You got to be able to breathe. That's why they always say you can't fight if you can't breathe.
Yeah.
And
having that cardio is crazy. Oh man! So when your next trip? What are you doing?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to Ohio. I was gonna go to think about doing a 5-day trip to Iceland and then the UK and maybe one day in Lisbon in July. I mean, because from Jersey to Iceland, it's like $250 round trip.
Deep. I see. We must be.
And it's 5 hours and change.
That's not bad at all.
From Reykjavik to EWR.
Yeah, we must be looking at the same like shit on whatever on what I'm getting the same advertisements. I saw that exact cruise that you were talking about, 13-day, whatever it is. I don't know where I saw it.
When I saw that, I was thinking, man, I'll do that. And then I saw March 2027. I was like, yeah, fuck, we all might be dead by then.
Exactly.
The only ones that are available now are, I think it's Hong Kong to India or Thailand to India. I don't want to do India and Bangladesh. And I'm like, no, I just have no interest.
You'll be going over dead bodies.
Yeah. And you don't want to be in the Indian Ocean. You don't want to be like, you don't want to be like out at sea like 3 days in a row either. So
yeah, well,
they have them broken up where you do one out at sea, then you'll do 9 hours, then you'll do 4 hours, then you'll do out at sea, and then the one from Hong Kong through Vietnam all the way around to I think it was
Bali.
It was you hit Bali. You hit Bali. Then they sent you down to Koh Samui in Thailand. Yeah. And then you went to some beach in Malaysia, and then you ended in Singapore, where you just got off the ship.
Yeah, I saw that one. I don't know. The problem with that is, I mean, you've been to most of these places.
Yeah.
I've been to a decent amount of them, but I hated being on a cruise and you stop at a place for 8 hours and you're like, this place is awesome, and then you have to fucking leave.
Yeah, you gotta leave. You're not even allowed to say, well, I'm going to miss on purpose. Because then you really get fucked.
I don't know.
But the way I look at it is, if it's your first time in those areas, just do that, and then you know where you can go back. Because it's dirt cheap to fly inside of Southeast Asia. It's like $150 round trip anywhere. It's no money at all, and you can just pick and choose, just fly there and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be on a boat. I'm just going to go here. I'm going to stay here. And Bali, to me, I don't know why people like it. For some reason, I didn't like it.
It's had a lore. I mean, it's just, I guess now it's all Australian. It's always been all Australian.
Yeah. It's so close.
Built it up to be this great place, but I'm not saying I'll never go there, but I don't know.
I think this time I want to do northern Vietnam and do the southern part of China, because they have a gate. I forgot what it's called. And when COVID opened up and they said, okay, we're going to allow all the people from China that were stranded in northern Vietnam went back over, and all the people from Vietnam were stranded in China for a year and a half. They got to go back over. They only let those people go, nobody else. I was watching it on the news, and I was like, holy cow, and Lao has something similar. It's not really a gate, but they have an agreement with China. People in Lao can go over and work over the border and come back every day. They have a bigger. Louis should look into that, because there's plenty of work there. And then it's only an hour away from Vientiane, and then you just go over the border.
Well, there's people that live in Mexico that work in the United States that commute every day. I'm not retirees, but there's I guess communities down there.
Yeah, they're right over the border. They made an agreement with each other. Say, hey, look, you're cool, we're cool. Let's just work with each other, and it works out.
You push right through.
Yeah, Juarez used to be like that down by El Paso.
Isn't it?
Yeah, but now it's a danger zone.
Well, that's
in the 80s. It was still how people came in and got in and out, but they would leave. They would work and leave, because on base, I remember I was at Robert Gray Airfield, but it was attached to Fort Hood. So I would always go on the base to go running, because there was nowhere to run on Robert Gray. So I'd go on the base, run in the morning, and I would watch INS just round up the guys at the construction site. They would have 10 motorcycles, and they would just circle the guys. And then when the trucks got there, they would put them on. And the guys didn't even fight it. They just dropped the shovels or whatever and got on it. 2 weeks to that day, the exact same guys were back on the same construction site. It was just a cycle.
Birdman and Rain Man. I guess you're the Rain Man.
Yeah. I don't know. 5-4. Do you ever listen to Flash? He does that. He just yeah. It's easier for him to just like communicate. Stouts is here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're live.
I didn't see the whole Flash Clive interaction, so I don't know what happened.
I didn't either. Apparently, Flash was upset because Clive wouldn't let him talk. Clive kept talking over him. And you could call Flash a name, and he kind of rolled with it, I think. I saw a little bit. But it was when he wouldn't let him mention his stream and his channel before he left. You know how he always points down. Yeah. Clive said, "Shut up, you can't do it." And I think that's what got him angry.
Oh, that's my favorite part, waiting for Flash to leave when he basically does that skit.
One of the funniest ever was Frank the Tank was streaming, and some guy was on with Flash and Frank goes, "Well, I'm going to close the stream for now," and Flash, but nobody can. I'm going to just go right now, no goodbyes or anything. I'll be on later today, and then we can do it then. And just after he said that, Flash goes, "Frank, before you go, can I mention my channel?" and Frank goes, "No, click." He ended it. I know, poor Flash. That was funny.
Frank the Tank. God.
Yeah. Good old Frank the Tank.
I laughed my ass off. Reminded me of Grant when he dropped his link during his PayPal link during.
Oh yeah, and you're like, Grant, that's your real name.
Oh no, he did that to Cabo. Yeah, he fucking doxed Cabo. I'm like, oh God.
No. Yeah, man, Grant's been going 3 years now, almost 4 years.
I can't even keep track. Has it been that long?
Yeah,
I still have his channel on my my list, on my sub list. It's still there.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's gonna forever be there because you have a chance to say, "Hey, if I die or I stop after 10 years, could you get rid of this?" That you can check that box.
Well, actually, I got it perfect.
I'm gonna put the links that you drop. You know, like the Flash channel. I'm gonna get that, and I'm gonna keep that link, and I'm gonna keep it going after I die. People are gonna click on that link.
Oh God, that was a good one.
That one was better than the original one you used to drop.
I know. Jesse used to have the best ones, but I just looked up what I look up. I forget what I looked up, but that's what came up. Oh,
I like that, Doctor. This is here. This is the anus. And it was like a normal conversation. It was like he was all into it. I was like, damn, give those guys credit, man. Who's Det Lepard? Det Lepard. Make sure to tune in later for the hockey game recap on Doing It All. Trolls. It's a little way. If you scroll up just a little bit, it's Viking Prepper. He's in between Viking Prepper with the diamonds. Remember Standard Oil Company? Well, yes, I do. I'm from Ohio. And Standard Oil used to.
Should I ban the user, delete the comment, put user in timeout? What do you think?
I don't know. It's so far up, nobody sees it anymore.
Jeff gives a shit.
Yeah, nobody sees it so far up. Viking Prepper Standard Oil it was out of Ohio. Their gas stations were called Soho. We used to call them Sohio, but they were Soho.
Soho, huh?
Yeah. Standard Oil out of Ohio.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was back in the day when you only had local banks. You couldn't bank interstate. You just had bank, like Jersey had banks, Ohio had banks. That's when banks competed for your money too, and everybody was getting 10% interest. Think about it. You make $1 million over 30 years working. You save, you bust your ass, and you can live off the $100,000 a year in interest. You can't do it anymore.
10%. Yeah.
CDs
at what, 4 now? I forget. Someone was talking about CDs. Oh, Kelly called. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I know. Good old Kelly.
First off, you don't have any access to your money.
Yeah.
No matter, even if it's like 10 months, 50 months, 84 months, 120 months, you don't have access. But they do have one, and you're not going to get more than 4% anymore anyway. It's only 4 months to throw a couple million you have in there, and you'll make some quick money. It's only 4 months, but your money's locked.
Exactly. There's less exposure, but that money could be doing a lot better.
Yeah, you get 11%.
Yeah, you got to look at the long term. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. If you're 85, do that. Because 4 months is really 4 years to you when you're 85.
Yeah. My sister got that settlement money. She got settlement money from when she got hit on her bicycle. And I'm just trying to, help her out and, what should I do with it? And I gave her all these different ideas. And basically all she did was bring it into the bank. And she's like, I'm going to leave it here. I'm not doing anything with it. I'm like, oh boy. Okay. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not tons of money, but he just likes to see that number in the bank.
Said, and there's no risk. And no risk.
He doesn't want to risk it.
Did you see Lotto's comment? They gave styrofoam balls to put on your antennas when you went to the gas station. You know what gas station that was? Uniroyal. 76. Uniroyal.
Wow. For some reason, I remember that. I remember the antenna thing.
Yep. All the cars had those shitty antennas. I remember I was a platoon leader, and because the ROTC he got booted out because he wasn't meant for the military. But anyway, they said, hey, listen, until the new lieutenant's here, you got to go out there and you got to talk to these guys. And all right, went out there. Then this new guy, he had a headlamp out, a tail light out, and his antenna was missing. And he's talking about going out and getting beers that night. I said, listen, you can afford a beer. You can afford an antenna, a headlamp, and a tail light, and maybe 1 or 2 beers. You gotta be smart with your money. He goes, listen, that power's going to your head. I was like, okay. I just ignored it. I swear to God, that guy had a coat hanger, and he twisted 3 of them together and had it as an antenna, and it would work because it was just like metal. And I was like, oh my God. And he did what Ron did with his car. He taped the headlamp in, and oh God, anything to not have to spend money.
Well, I wonder how Ron's car's doing. Does he have it's parked at his father-in-law's or whatever? Or?
Oh, that car's gone. That car's got to be dead. Because if it's battery, you can't just let it sit, or it's over.
Well, the car is battery. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Danny couldn't even drive Ron's car to work for free to keep the battery going. He couldn't even do that even just do it once every other 3 days. That's just bad.
Well, it's crazy that car you're saying he keep me going 65 or 60 miles an hour on the highway and it just shuts down.
Yeah, I wouldn't be driving it at that point.
Kind of like wouldn't you think that's kind of a pretty significant flaw in design that have, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. But I guess it's a Prius, and they're supposed to be very good, reliable cars until they're not.
Well, yeah, all the cars end up shit in the bed. It's basically what happened.
I was looking at a Tesla, and they were having sales on the new one. I think it's an X or a Y, and I'm like, that's too small. I would get the S. I wouldn't get the Plaid. I wouldn't spend $100,000 on a fucking car. I'm going to use maybe 8 times a month. So I thought, you know what? Let me look at a used one. And I always tell people, never buy a used EV from anybody. And the guy was pushing these cars super hard. You remember the Quaker Bridge Mall?
Yeah. Yep.
You remember Sears and JCPenney's?
Mm-hmm.
Well, those parking lots are just littered with Teslas. It's just I don't know what they're used or new. They're just waiting to be sold or what. That's
like by Valley Hospital. Now there's a new Valley Hospital up by us, and I forget what mall it is, There's used to be. It's not even really. It's basically a shell of what it used to be. The largest store there actually has been unoccupied for like the past freaking 4 years. But that whole entire parking lot is filled with cyber trucks. It's got to be at least 300 of them just sitting there. I was expecting to see it on the news. Someone went over there and torched it. You know?
Yeah. You light one of those on fire, the rest are just going to go the domino effect. Because those batteries, when they're on fire, you can't put them out.
No. You
just can't.
That would be an issue. Definitely.
Didn't you have an e-bike that caught on fire?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think if well, no, the battery. I had an issue with the first battery. It didn't go up in flames, but it started like freaking smoking and shit, you know. But yeah, no, the first, I had 2 rad wagons. They're out of Seattle. But the first one that I had, I may have been partly to blame for some of the stuff that I did to it, but it definitely, I had battery issues. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, but I mean, those batteries have caused problems, man. They've caused fires and caused deaths.
You can't. They don't want you using. They don't want you bringing them on the planes anymore. Tyre said, "Listen, you can bring it on, but we prefer you not to." Mm-hmm. Those battery packs, and people are using them, and now they're saying, "Okay, you can bring them on, but you can't use them." I'm thinking, okay, Tyre is one thing, but if you're on a long haul flight, they have like USB-C, they have the A, they have like 10 different ports you can use safely, and people are still taking them out and putting them and using them. I'm like, I don't want to be on these planes. The last 3 planes that caught on fire, battery packs. They all were battery packs.
In the cabin or in the storage?
In the cabin, because people are using them. Yeah, these things blow up. When they blow up, you can't put it out by stomping on it, pouring soda on it. You just can't.
You'd think that these airplanes, if they would have the ability, they'd have some sort of way to put it out. You know.
Yep.
Basically,
now they're asking. When I was in Eat Air, they asked, "Do you have any battery packs?" I said, "Yeah, I have one." They said, "Please take it out of your bag and put it on the shelf next to you." And I did. No big deal. And then the worst case scenario, I would just thrown it in my backpack and smothered it.
The first time I went up to Buriram, I remember that we almost missed the flight because they called out my name because they inspected the bag, they found that I had one of those batteries in it.
Yep.
And the girl had to run all the way back and get it, and we still brought it on the plane. They just didn't want it in the luggage. That's what it was.
They don't want you checking it. You can't check it. Now they're telling you can still bring it on, carry on, but you can't use it. So the next step is going to be you can't bring it at all.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. You really don't. I mean, I always bring it. So
I just leave them. Leave them. I said, you know what? I don't want this problem. I'll just leave. I have one in Udon, one in Bangkok.
You can buy it so cheap now.
They're so cheap. I got one that's supposedly like this really nice one. It's small. It looks like a little wallet. And it took like 30 minutes to charge. Mm-hmm. And it charged a Google Pixel 8 in like 25 minutes, not even. Just super fast. I put it on the iPhone, and I said, I'm not going to wait around. It's just iPhone 11. It's just old tech.
Yeah, I bought basically it's a knockoff from Anchor, but it's probably made in the same damn freaking whatever
place in China.
Yeah, it works. I mean, dude, I've had it for 3 years now.
And does it start with an I?
I don't even have it on me. It's in my car, actually.
Yeah, I think they're called India or Indigo or Indigo.
I think you're right. I think it's Indigo. It's so old that it doesn't. The emblem is worn off on it, but I still am able to, get it. It still works. I'm sure it's not as effective as it used to be, but it certainly charges my phone.
Yeah, if it works just for what you need it for, that's fine. Because they gave me an old version, and it looks just like an iPhone, like maybe an SE in the size and weight and everything. And I looked it up. It's like $9 now. And I was like, oh, that's nothing. But they were giving them away. So I said, all right, I'll take that. And I'll just keep that here, and I'll use it for like my iPad, which I never use when I'm home.
Some of those anchors actually they were pricey, but they're still over $100.
Yeah, they have them that are like $350, $400.
Yeah, those
I'm like, what would you need that for? I'm thinking, why? What do you need that for?
Laptop, phone, multiple things. I don't know.
Yeah, and people are messed up if they need that. I could see if I guess you have
Campers,
a CPAP
maybe
machine.
camping. Could be good for
camping because they had the 120 or 220 or 210, 110, whatever. They had those plugs on it. And I was like, wow, it's pretty handy if you could do all that. But I could see like Ricky needing it for a CPAP machine or something. I guess, but just stay awake and then you don't have to worry about that.
Hey, you might know something about this. All of these the translate stuff. If you like on the go translate, I wonder how good it works. Basically, you can do it with the AI with the new phones, and you put the headphones in, and basically you could listen. It translates what people are saying.
They have one that you wear one, and the other person wear one. You speak English, and they'll hear it, and it translates, and then they'll speak Thai. You'll hear it, but it'll translate into English for you. It's like a split second off. I would give it like a 70, like a C.
It's not 100.
Nothing's going to be 100 yet. There will when the AI takes over. My Google, I pointed at the screen, any language. I went to all different. I went to like Farsi. Went 3 different types of Chinese. You name Arabic, modern Arabic, old traditional. I pointed. Everything worked. I was walking around Bangkok and I was pointing at the street signs and everything. And you can talk and it does it on the fly too. Ron uses his when they message each other. It automatically translates for him. I don't need it because I do everything online.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind picking something up like that.
Yeah, that's the only problem. The only problem I have with the Google Pixel is the airlines from Asia, their boarding passes, the electronic for the digital wallets, they drop 2 initials in my middle name. It doesn't match my boarding pass. And it's not going to match my passport. They're not letting me on.
Yeah, they don't.
So
they don't fuck around with that shit.
Yeah, the woman at Google told me, well, just get a new passport without your middle name. I said, that's not a solution. Are you sure you work at Google? and she hung up on me. But I worked with them for 3 months. Everybody was cool. They were like, oh, you solved the problem. I go, yeah, I know, because you guys won't do it. But this one, there's no solution. And I know it's not all the airlines because the European airlines, it worked fine. The American, no pun intended, American airline, it worked. Matter of fact, American airline, inside Google in its digital wallet, it was giving me live updates when they were changing gates. People were like, why are you walking over there? I go, because I just got an update. They're like, I don't have that. I said, well, I have a real phone. They all have an iPhone. I had a Google. And they're like, what kind of phone is that? I said, oh, it's Tesla. Tesla's coming out. They're like, oh, yeah, when's it coming out? I said, 2 years. I told that to a nun. And then when she came over, sat down, she goes, I know Tesla's not coming out with the phone. I read the articles. And then she was from Philly. Really cool nun. She goes, how did you get that? And I showed her, and she's like, is that Google Pixel? I go, yeah, you don't need it you need it for video and pictures. It's awesome. Translation is great. And Google Maps, everything's great. But for Asian boarding passes and digital wallets, they don't work. I showed her, and she's like, yeah, your 2 letters are missing. I said, but not on the European airlines and not on American airlines. So it's just Asian because Cathay didn't work, JAL didn't work, ANA didn't work, Thai didn't work, and what was the other one? Korean didn't work. So
nothing's perfect in this world. You know that.
Yeah, so I kept that. and I just kept my iPhone Pro Max 11, and that works fine. Matter of fact, I set up the app, not on the iPhone, but on the Google. I set up the app for being able to use QR for payment in Thailand. I just got to go over there, go to the exchange, and get them to give me the credit card, the prepaid money card. It's just like you're exchanging money. You give them the money, give them your passport. Your passport is your username for you to get onto the card. It's perfect solution over there. But there are two bad things. One, you got to use all your money within a year, or you give it away.
Oh, they keep
it's only
it.
it's only for a year. So it's for people who travel for like 2-3 months, and you can top it off. So you just put 100, 200 on it. You're going to use that in 2 months' time, so you don't have to worry about it.
Well, you can use the Wise now too, right? I mean, the QR code with Wise, and I haven't even, you can order the card and get all that, because for a while you couldn't get a card with Wise.
Yep. Matter of fact, they have a new security feature, and I don't know what it is, but they messaged me and they said you can't use your account at the end of the month if you don't prove who you are. Well,
something must have happened big, because all of my, with the exception of one broker, well, let's just say Fidelity, the app that my retirement company, I can't. Now I actually, maybe it's my phone or maybe it's me. I've never really talked to anyone, but it seems like now they're almost making you type in your password. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
You can't use the thumb. You can't do the eyes. You can't.
I never do that anyway. I never do face or thumb. Yeah. And my sister told me, she's an attorney. She said, "Listen, never use that, because if you get pulled over and they try to take your phone, they can force you to put your thumb on it. They can force it to put it over your eye. They can't force you to remember your password." Yeah, I said, "Yeah, I can be Ronald Reagan. I can't remember."
Oh, dude, I'm getting bad with all these passwords for work and personal passwords, and this, and it's insane trying to keep up.
I do the cardinal sin. I use the same password for everything.
Wow. I'm pretty
it's
close
all
to
or
that.
Nothing.
If I try the one and I don't get it, I know it's the other. But it's continuously changing, the numbers and I don't know.
The only thing that, now because of Doge, I had to redo all my government passwords. Everything for Deers, that's for retirement. DOD for like getting on bases with the different credit, different ID. VA, I got till the end of the year, get a new VA card. Mine was issued the second one, 2005. People are like, "Oh, wow. You still have that one from 2005?" I said, "Yeah." They're like, they get people to steal your information. I said, "Yeah, wouldn't that be great?" There's no information on it. It's just my name.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a swipe card or anything, so all they can steal is the name on it, and it's pretty much worn off anyway. But I have to get a new one there. Matter of fact, I don't know how I pulled it off. It was 4:51 a.m. and I was logging off of Ron's. And I said, "I'll go to DMV and I'll sign up for the Real ID." And there were 79 appointments left. I said, "I'll be darned." Yeah, so I logged on and I got it July 22nd. That was 2 weeks ago. I really don't need it because I have a passport. You know what? If I don't have a Real ID, I can't get in a federal building, so I can't go to VA appointments. But I have a passport, and they might not take that, they said.
Really? You think passport would be number one and the Real ID would be number two,
Exactly, because the passport's your international birth certificate. There's nothing there that gets you into countries. My fucking VA ID and Real ID is not getting me in any country. It might get me on a plane inside the United States,
Canada.
But it's not. Yeah,
it's Canada and Mexico actually, but that's probably going to change.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, definitely. I almost flew into Toronto last year to get the iPhone 15 because, as you know, we don't have SIMs anymore. Cards. We have those Robert V.
Oh Jesus! Oh, I'm scared. Robert V's here. Oh my God. Creeping me out. Yeah,
hey, guess what's happening? Guess what's happening next week?
No idea. What's next week?
The air show down at McGuire.
Oh, are they really having it? Is it?
They're having it next week. Next week, I believe.
They, I know they have it every year, but I always associate it with the Blue Angels. They're not going to be there, right?
I don't know. I didn't check the itinerary, but I'll look. I saw the Blue Angels like 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, man.
I don't know. That McGuire thing is, I mean, you probably have special access and stuff, but if you don't.
I have no access outside of just getting on base, but anybody can get on because of it. It's just people are going to be parked and camping out, and you have to walk from all the, and it's too much for me. Maybe when I was like 12, I might have been interested.
Well, I went a couple times, but it's just now it's I mean, it's always been big, but the way they had it set up, you had to take a bus to parking, and it's just a fucking nightmare getting out of there.
Yeah. And then all the hilljacks and rednecks and everybody who patriotic types that like to go down there and have a good time. It's just a numbers game. There's just too many people.
Yeah. They have a good one up by me, in Greenwood Lake. It's obviously they don't have the jets and well, they do actually have mini jets. That was pretty cool. Some guy had a mini jet airplane that was flying over, but no, I'm serious, dude. The thing was like tiny, but it was a jet airplane.
Was it a replica or was he actually in it?
Oh, he was in it. It was just
holy cow.
It was a jet plane, but it wasn't like big. It was small, and the shit that he was doing it was loud. But yeah, they do it every year at the Greenwood Lake. I went 2 years ago. It's pretty cool, and it's certainly not as crowded. It gets crowded, but
they gotta check and see what they're expecting because I don't think they had it last year.
What's that?
A couple years ago, it got rained out. Well, they had it rain or shine, but everything was grounded. So what's the sense of going to an air show if everything's on the ground?
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. Plus, if you can get on the aircraft, I like knowing all the nomenclature and everything about it. And then stumping them. Do you know in 1972 this happened? The guy would be like 19 years old. Like, I wasn't even born, dude.
Yeah, that's right. In McGuire, you could go through and you could get in the helicopter and you could do all that. That's cool.
All old stuff. Yeah, the KC-135s transport for the fuels. They're not going to have anything special. I do still have I think it was a B2 or may have been a
B-52.
I forgot. No, there was a B2 also. Okay. And they had him in Saudi Arabia. I got to find out. I'll just find that photo and I'll point my phone on it. And I'm like, this is an unauthorized photo. But you weren't allowed to have cameras. And I happen to have my $9.99 110 Kodak that looked like a ice cream sandwich. And I remember I had it, and it was in my pistol belt in my cargo pocket. And the guy, they searched everybody. They didn't search my cargo pocket. You know why? Because I had a pear in my grenade holster on the left side, and I had an orange in the grenade holster on the other side. The guy thought I was nuts. He probably thought I was nuts. And I was like, I went through, and I just took it out, and I was taking pictures. And this guy came over, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing? This is like, you could get in some serious trouble." I said, "For having fruit?" He goes, "No fucking cameras. Put the fucking thing away." And all right, and I put it away. And when I walked in, I said, "Hey, look, I didn't know. Here's my camera. You want the film?" They said, "Don't worry about it." Yeah, I guarantee I get in trouble if I had that. Mm-hmm. I should show it online. Look what I found at my neighbor's house at this address in a box in his garage. His deceased uncle left it.
Oh boy, that's crazy. Hey, you were talking about that. Didn't you have a bunch of pictures or something? Some guy that was in Thailand and Cambodia.
Yeah, that's the guy I was just telling. His dead uncle. I got to talk to his sister. He got his first suit ever. He did Vietnam in 66, 67, 68. He went to Singapore, Thailand. Obviously, he was in Vietnam, but not partying. and maybe a little bit in Saigon. I think he said he had beers. He was a Marine, so he didn't party much. A lot of action all those years. He went to Hong Kong, got his first suit, and he told me for I think $40 he got a suit, 3 shirts with his initials on them, 2 pairs of slacks, and a pair of shoes. I said, "How did that work out for you? Did you wear it? Did you ever need it?" He goes, "I got my only job when I got out." He was a funeral director at the largest funeral home in America. It was in Manhattan, and he ended up being a funeral director. And the guy hired him. He didn't want to hire him because came back from Nam. He goes, "The last 3 guys were crashing cars. They were alcoholics." He goes, "Look," he goes, "I'll quit drinking beer right now if you tell me to." And he goes, "No, I have your beer, but I'm going to hire you and give you a chance because I like your suit. Where'd you get it?" And he goes, "I got it for $40 in Hong Kong."
That's great.
Yeah, we got him his job, and he worked for 40. And then he started crashing cars. He actually crashed and flipped the car with a body in it.
No,
and his name was Walt. I go, "Walt, what the hell happened?" He said, "I was driving, and the cigarette fell in my lap, and I was burning my leg." I said, "You were smoking in the car? You're not supposed to smoke." And he goes, "Yeah, the window was down." He goes, "Who's going to complain?" I guess nobody. And he went over a berm, and he hit the ramp by the over, and he flipped the car like 5 times. I was like, "This is it." I go, "What happened?" He goes, "Well, that was like the 3rd time I wrecked the car with a body in it, so they kind of fired me."
Yeah,
I said, "Wow." Yeah, he did Judy Garland. He worked on her body. They were going to bring Frank Sinatra back for, I think, Hoboken or whatever, but he wouldn't have gotten that. Someone else would have got that. He did all the mob guys.
Oh, Jesus.
And the families when he would drive like years later, they would say, "Hey, park outside here." And someone would come out and they would hand him a gift. And it was like $5,000 in cash. They said, "Thank you. My grandmother had a peaceful funeral. Thank you for doing that." But they just couldn't do it up front. And they just waited a couple years. I said, "Holy cow." A bunch of people. He said, "Yeah, I worked on a couple of my friends. They were in car accidents. We went to high school together." And I was like, wow.
That's tough.
Yeah, but he had I think it was 8 or 16 millimeter film of all that, and he has like 3 or 4 photo albums. And I had him. I was sitting looking. I said, "Could you please leave this so I can like make copies?" And he goes, "Why would you do that?" And I should have just said, because this is Vietnam, and it shouldn't just be held by one person. It could be lost. And this is history. I should have gone that route. I said, people like I know online, they would like to see these. And then he kind of like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And that's what his sister's doing. And I keep telling her, I said, "Hey, listen, can I just like look at these out here in the yard?" And, but no, I'm working on it. But that would be great because you're looking at little fishing villages.
Well, you could just edit them out. Yeah, I mean, it's easy enough.
No, it wouldn't. He didn't care, and I don't think they would care that you see the people in it because that is history.
Yeah,
and he had Hong Kong, he had Singapore, he had everything. He was in Tokyo, and so he couldn't stand Asians. He said, "Listen," he called me George. He goes, "George, I just don't like Asians. I'm sorry, I don't. I missed Korean War. I was in Vietnam for 3 years, and I just don't like them." I said, "Well, I guess so, but why don't you go over, man? I'll go with you, and you can exercise some ghosts and maybe meet some friends." He goes, "I'll shoot you before I get on that plane." He's look, the guy's 75 or whatever, 76. He's not going to change.
Yeah, he doesn't want to relive it,
Yeah, well, he was cuckoo. He goes, "You're a veteran. That's why I can talk to you." I said, "There are plenty of vets." He goes, "No, combat vet." That's how I met him at the peer. I was part of a peer group, and I was a counselor for the vets. And he was like a very nice guy. And he goes, "Wait a minute, I think I know you." I said, "Yeah, I recognize you too. Were you stuck in the snow a couple years ago on this road?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "I helped get you out of that. He goes, that's where I remember you. Yeah, small world. I actually helped him. He couldn't drive for shit. Wait a minute. What happened to Steady Eddie? Did he die?
Who said that?
Serious question. No. Robert P said, serious question. How we get to update about Steady Eddie? About Eddie?
Well, he did a stream. I know that. I didn't watch the whole thing, but he hasn't been eating. I guess he's in bed, and he was hooked up to all these monitors. So yeah, he's not doing good. Steady Eddie,
when you don't eat it, it's over. And the thing is, he made a conscious decision to I'm not going to do anything. I tried traditional, it didn't work. And the thing is, does he even have family?
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it really.
Yeah. Well, at least, you think he would have one friend. Like, I get that Nick Dean guy kind of they helped him out a lot. Yeah, so maybe but Nick's in Southeast Asia and Eddie's in Europe, so you can only do so much. You're not just going to get on a plane and fly. I guess they're not that friends, Mm-hmm. Well, like you said, we're all going to die, and we're going to die alone. Even if people are in the room, you're still going to die alone unless everybody in that room dies.
Yep, not going to be pretty.
You don't want the guy to suffer.
Nah, well, that's they'll probably put him on enough morphine to kill a horse. It's just that's usually how it goes. If he's actually in pain, they've come so far with pain management. Even that what's the fucking drug that kills all the kids and the drugs. That shit's a great
fentanyl. Yeah.
If it's administered properly, it's fucking supposedly unbelievable. Yeah.
Unfortunately, you don't know if you're going to get good stuff or bad stuff.
Well, no, I'm talking about in the hospital.
In the hospital. Well, if you're going to in Ed's situation, you want as much as possible because you'll go quick and painless.
Well, that's what morphine's good for. Is that they'll consistently give you a little more and more, and eventually you're not going to live. If you're on morphine drip for fucking over a week, it's gonna kill you.
Yeah, exactly. Like a buddy of mine that he said, the doctor told me I have 2 weeks to live. I go, what does that mean? He goes, there's a lot of people who only have about 4 days to live. I was like, what the hell? Holy cow. He actually beat cancer. He beat cancer, that guy, 30 years ago.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I would rather have cancer than ALS because you're not beating ALS. ALS is undefeated.
Yeah.
George Floyd, what about him? Had a good fit, but he's been clean for years now, George Floyd.
Jesus.
Somebody, I mentioned Global Entry to Ron. I say, hey, when you're at the airport, go to Global Entry and get the interview over, and then you can just pay for it. Next time you fly, you have your Global Entry. And someone goes, I knew a Thai chick who had Global Entry. She led every nationality in. I just started laughing.
That was
what
me.
The hell?
Of course,
that was you.
Me. Yeah.
Are you sure that was you? Yeah. Was that an alt account?
Yeah, it was my alt. It was.
Wow. Was it George or something?
No, it was the Philippines. I love the Philippines.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That was funny. I laughed for like half hour. I was like, holy shit, that is funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the Philippines. Of course, that's me.
Wow. And the man, who's healthier, Steph or Sweeney?
Steph is.
Yeah, Steph seems to be hanging in there.
Well, if his liver's, because your liver can actually
regenerate.
It can regenerate. So, Ron has hope.
Yeah, Ron. Well, I don't know about Ron, but maybe Steph has hope.
Steph was a lot worse than Ron. Steph was. I'm not saying Ron was good, but Steph was drinking a bottle of vodka a day.
Holy shit. For 5 years. And that's what we know. It was 5 years. It could have been more, like 8 years, 9 years.
I'd imagine.
Yeah, cirrhosis, there's nothing you can do for that. But
well, he probably, at one point, he's reasonably, he's a reasonably intelligent guy. he probably did have that good corporate job, engineer, whatever he claims to be, and just
I thought that turned out to be Havoc.
It was bullshit. What are you saying?
No, I thought it was air conditioning and heating. Havoc.
Oh, HVAC, yeah. Havoc,
HVAC.
yeah.
Havoc, HVAC, whatever.
That's engineering, man. I don't know. Maybe he was.
I think he said it was. He said it was HVAC or Havoc or whatever it was. That's why I'm like, I don't know, like, what the hell?
Well, that's still part of engineering.
Because everything's engineering. It's like narcissism. That word used, or that damn fucking word you know, is still going. I'm trying to time talking around it.
Yeah, it could be a garbage engineer. It could be all different types of engineers.
Yeah, when it started, it was in the early 90s in New Jersey. They stopped calling toll workers. They called them something engineers.
Software engineers, this engineer, that engineer.
Belgium chocolate manufacturing engineer.
What is that?
Garbologist.
Garbologist, yeah.
Yeah, those garbologists up in New York are making $300K a year, $180K pensions.
It was
now they're all fighting to get those jobs now.
Yeah, hey, fuck it. Those guys hustle, man.
You can't live without a farmer. You can't live without like the garbage people, mechanics. You can't live without these people, and people put them down. I don't know. It all started in the late 70s or in the 80s because all the counselors at schools are like, "Oh, everybody's pushing for college." I said, but only 25% of people in the country go. And even then, it shouldn't even be that high. There's a lot of people who shouldn't even be there. Like the people who are terrible at math that become like teachers and counselors. And I was telling that to my counselor. He was fucking getting pissed. He was like, get the fuck out of this office. I was like, well, I guess the shoe fits, bro. He actually turned out to be a cool guy. But, man, he took it too personally. And I was making it personal because some of the teachers I had a math teacher couldn't do math. and I was like, you're just doing what's in the book. So I put I put a problem on the board and I said, could you please do this, show your work step by step, like they always ask the students. Get the hell out of this classroom. And about 3 days later, I was in the gym and her husband was a PE teacher, slammed me into the wall. And he goes, you're not looking. No one's looking. I'm kicking your ass. I slammed his head in the wall locker. He fell. I jumped on top. I was bashing his head in the concrete ground. About 10 kids. All my friends ran.
I didn't want any part of it.
Yeah, and some of the big football players, they just picked me up. All these corn-fed guys picked me up, and they were like, dude, you're going to fucking kill the guy. He started it. And they go, yeah, he did. And all that, like, I got no trouble. He got no trouble because nobody said a word. He just wobbled to the hospital, and I went to class, and for like the whole weekend, I was thinking, when are the cops showing up? I didn't care the cops were going to show up because a police chief's son was one of my best friends. I was worried about my mom, which she would say,
beat your ass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Steph did say that, Lotto. He said Havoc. HAVC, Havoc. SDA, the best tool he made. Steph is a tool maker, not an engineer. Did he make widgets?
Good old Steffi boy.
Yeah.
I got to bail out soon, dude.
Yeah, it's midnight. Yeah, you got to go to work. Yeah. All right, everybody, cheers. Go to Ron's if he's there. Monster, good having you.
Man. Appreciate it.
And videotape the birds so when they leave, we have some proof.
I'll get.
I heard rumor you're selling it to the diner across the street.
There we go. I'll get some more videos out there. Thanks, guys. Have a good one, man. Later.
Cheers.